I think we're live.
We're live. That's how you know we're live. Happy monstering and welcome to today's very special pre-show live stream before we have our noon YouTube premiere of something brand new coming to My Singing Monsters.
Oh my goodness, those are my favorite.
Yes, those are my favorite kinds of days. Is today when there's something special going on. Why don't we introduce ourselves?
Well, sure.
I am Monster Handler Matt.
I'm Monster Handler Eric. You may notice that we're both wearing special headgear today. Things have been under construction, so to speak, lately, and we're gearing up. The final touches for the big reveal.
Yes, I like your specific use of gearing up there. Eric, a resident punsmith here among the Big Blue Bubble Monster Handlers. If you're joining us for the first time, you may recognize us. We host a weekly show called My Singing Monsters Live every Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But you know what? It's not a Friday today.
Not
Eric.
today.
Today is a Wednesday because we've got something very special and exciting happening today in the monster world. So thank you to everyone who has joined us for this very special pre-show live stream.
I think that's what we called it.
That's what we've been calling it? Okay, well, excellent. So, Eric, what do you do here at Big Blue Bubble among the Monster Handlers?
Well, I do a lot of video work here.
That's right. So, would it be fair to say that you had an important hand in the creation of what we're going to be unveiling in less than a half an hour's time?
Yeah, I'd say as of about 7 minutes ago, I was still very involved.
It was ready to go. Hence the use of the hat, right? Like
yes.
even video editing requires that you keep your cranium safe.
Safety first.
That's right. So today we've released so far the hashtag Get Fired Up.
That's right.
And we did this once before.
The hashtag?
Yes, we did the hashtag Get Fired Up once before, approximately 6 to 7 months ago. Maybe even more so than that, if now is the 6th month. Yeah, about 7 or 8 months ago, we had Get Fired Up for a very special occasion in the monster world. And speaking of the subject of fire, the element of fire, there are a couple of things that I wanted to talk about today, just to bring everybody up to speed in case they weren't already up to speed about everything there is to know about the element of fire.
Excellent idea. Let's hear it.
So, I'm going to get out my Monster Handler satchel.
Here comes the journal, I bet.
Yes, the journal. And for those of you who haven't seen the journal before, this is actually a very special artifact, a very special coveted item among the Monster Handler community. This contains all of the secrets and notes of Dr. Warden E. Spurritt, who was the very first Monster Handler on record to make any sort of study, any sort of curiosity about the monster world. That was first contact with that dimension.
That's right, some very exciting theories.
Very exciting theories, and over the years, I have added some of my own observations as more and more discoveries have happened in the monster world, and I've been making notes about it. But today, I am going to open up to a page here that I've added.
Okay.
Recently. And what it is a brief history of the element of fire.
I'm assuming, is this modern day or are we going?
No, we're going all the way back. So
okay.
Today's reveal has to do with the app My Singing Monsters. But of course, many of you are also familiar with that app's prequel game, My Singing Monsters Dawn of Fire, which is when, at least in our chronology, the element of fire was first introduced.
The Dawn of Fire, if you will.
That's right. You know, very fitting that it has the name Dawn of Fire. So, for those of you who aren't familiar, I'll give you a quick crash course in the element of fire. And in fact, the history of the monster world in its entirety. Are you ready, Eric?
Yeah, I can't wait.
Are you ready, community? Okay, here we go. In the beginning, there was silence. Surprise, surprise. Then, softly at first, the deep sonorous voices of the colossals, powerful spirits of creation, came to be heard, one by one. As they grew louder, they began to harmonize and joined together into a great song. What's your favorite song, Eric?
In general? Or
Yeah, no. Well, no, I'm in general.
Oh, that's so hard to pick.
What about Happy Birthday? That one's always a good song.
I do love Happy Birthday.
We can't sing it, though, for copyright reasons. So maybe we can. I don't know. So, out of this joining with the Colossals came the first and most powerful element. Which is it, Eric?
Fire.
Fire. That's right, fire. The first element of the monster world. Fire was poised at the living core of the continent, the crowning jewel of the newly formed monster world. Fire's power and potential was so great that from it sprang the other natural elements: air, plant, earth, water, and cold. As they rose from the living ocean, the different lands of the continent took on the appearance of the natural elements. The first three to rise were the plant lands, cold lands, and air lands, and later the water lands and earth lands appeared. At this point, I will refer to our lovely cameraman, monster handler Michael, to throw up the graphic of the continent.
Can I also add, I love the phrase waterlands.
Waterlands. That's right. So here is the continent. So this is an uninhabited version of the continent, but you can see here centrally that plot of land are the plant lands, and then going clockwise from the upper left corner, we have the air lands, cold lands, waterlands, and earthlands. But you may notice, Eric, on the far right-hand side, a particular volcano.
Yeah, what's with that volcano?
Well, that volcano was representing fire's guiding presence below the surface of the monster world. Through the combined magic of the colossal song, the singing monsters came to be and began to populate the monster world. Another important talking point about the element of fire is that its special magic is also what fuels the wishing torches, which later came to be developed in the contemporary era of My Singing Monsters. Now, there are different wishing torch designs that were developed locally on each of the islands, but perhaps I'm getting ahead of myself. Islands? What happened to the continent?
Yeah,
you might
there was
ask.
one island, I thought.
Well, you are correct. It was one large structure in the middle of the living ocean, but that was not the case forever. So these ancient cave paintings appear in the subterranean cave network below the monster world, and we've journeyed to them a couple of different times over the course of monster history. But as you can see depicted here in 3 different panels, on the far left-hand side we can see 3 young monsters, Cana, Flower, and Barb, living an idyllic, serene life on the continent. Everything is hunky-dory, as they say.
Very happy
Yes.
hand in hand.
The sun is shining, everything is great. Then, for some reason that is still sort of unknown to us, there's a lot of theories, but we don't really know them. We haven't really been able to confirm any of them. But at one point, a disruptive force caused the Colossals to start to forget how to sing in harmony. Eventually, the discord of the Colossals proved too much, and a great quake struck the continent. And as you can see depicted in that middle panel, we have the separate elemental lands breaking off.
Oh my goodness.
Without a land to call their own, the fire elemental Cana guided the frightened fire hybrids into the safety of the living core, a safe haven, so to speak.
The volcano.
That's right, and that's what you can see depicted there, and there's sort of the guiding presence of the other Colossals that are rescuing the other remaining pieces of the continent. Wow. Each of the colossal spirits imbued their life force into an island, shaping it in their likeness and according to their own elemental affinity, and thus the natural islands were formed.
Wow.
So, that history, a bit of a crash course there for you about what's been going on in the monster world up until this point. And up until very recently, the element of fire was believed totally lost.
That's right.
And was missing in action. But about 7 or 8 months ago, again, occurring with the preponderance of get fired up, hashtag get fired up, we discovered that the fire monsters, the long lost fire monsters, had in fact not gone extinct, had not been casualties of the great quake on the continent, but that in fact they were in the safe haven of Fire Haven, in the living core of the monster world in the volcano. And Fire Haven was rediscovered some 7 or 8 months ago, and many of our beloved fire hybrids, such as Flower, Barb, Repetillo, Flugel, Stog, Tring, we're all back, and we're able to sing a new song that had been learned in collaboration with the surface monsters, the other natural monsters who had gone down in an expedition to discover what was going on. This was, of course, facilitated by the fact that the volcano, which had long since been underneath the water's surface of the living ocean, finally erupted.
Rose up.
That's right. Rose up out of the water, and Glowell was sent on an expedition up to the skies above to see, hey, is it habitable up there? Is it safe?
Is it safe?
Is it safe? And it was. Now, it was safe, but those fire monsters that had been discovered on Firehaven opted to stay on Firehaven because it was a familiar spot for them. You know, they're sort of homebodies.
It's a very nice island.
It's a very nice island. They wanna stay where they're comfortable, and they've been there for so long, right? We don't know the length of time, the interlude that took place between the breakup of the continent and the current era of Mycenaean monsters. We're not entirely sure how much time has elapsed, but yeah, I don't think it'd be measurable in our simple human terms. As we've previously discovered, time flow in the monster world works a little differently. It's sort of like Narnia, right? You can go there, spend 30 years of your life, and then come back, and then you're a young man again.
And yet, we're not sure exactly how it works.
But we're not sure
We're not
exactly
that's
how that works.
We just know it's
We just know that it's timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly stuff, and
yes.
that it doesn't necessarily work that exact same way. So, the Firehaven monsters, happy to reside on Firehaven for the time being, but, you know, a can of worms was sort of opened recently.
in the bakery.
No, but that's a good guess, because worms seem sort of like a thing that monsters would like.
Some of them definitely.
Although the monsters, I think, are predominantly vegetarian.
That's a good point.
Perhaps even vegan.
Gummy worms.
Even that, very good, very good. Although there's gelatin in those though, but maybe it's like slime, not gelatin. Anyway, that's beside the point. So, what were we talking about? Anyway, so the Firehaven monsters, happy to reside where they were.
Right.
But the can of worms. You sidetracked me here. The can of worms was open in that the cave network under the surface of the monster world was far more vast than was previously expected to be.
That's right.
And so, for those fire monsters that were not accounted for, you can see here, the cave network is vast. There is one of the cave entrances to Firehaven. But, and there it is poised upon the bed, the molten bed of lava inside the volcano, but it's actually quite a bit more vast, the network. So we expect that there are more monsters out there that have not been accounted for yet.
Right.
And there's been this increased activity recently in the monster world, and specifically, Glowell has been once again observed flying around. That's fine. Glowell has once
That's
again...
right. It's a YouTube premiere coming up soon.
Yes. Well, there they are. That's fine. So this is what you're watching right now, the live
Thanks
show.
for tuning in.
So, Glowell has also been observed flying around the surface of the monster world once more.
Yes, exactly. Similar to
the way it was back when Firehaven was first revealed. And we don't know why.
Especially because when Firehaven was revealed, Glowell kind of came out of the volcano.
That's right.
And was sort of circling, was looking around. But this time, Glowell seems inclined to go exploring.
That's right. And I think it's consistent with Glowell's nature to be curious, to be proud, to be the one that's sort of leading an expedition. It's consistent with that monster's personality. Yeah, but we don't know specifically what the destination or if there's a specific item that Glowell is on the lookout for.
Maybe a can of worms.
It could be a can of worms, although I feel like Glowell being predominantly owl-like, owl-esque, if you will, that it would be more interested in finding gummy mice as opposed to gummy worms.
I'm getting hungry.
Have you ever eaten a gummy mouse?
Not yet.
No. Maybe there's an untapped market there that we should be looking into in the human world. But this is all that we know at this time, that there's been increased activity in the monster world and that something is going on.
Mm-hmm.
And we're so close. We're only 10 minutes away from revealing what it is that the monsters have been up to recently.
That's right. That requires
these specific hard hats. Now, Eric, as the creator of the video that will soon be unveiled in 10 minutes time here, what do you expect that members of the community have had? So they've had their hunches, right?
Right.
There have been a couple of teasers, a couple of different sightings, if you will, in the subterranean tunnel network of the monster world.
Which has shown up on our social media, of course.
That's right. Specifically one yesterday that shows that exact same cave painting sort of triptych that was displayed before with something brand new. Something new. Or so we think. There's activity right there at the end.
I did see an excellent theory that this whole thing is an elaborate prank by Hula.
Hula?
Can you
But Summer
imagine?
Song isn't scheduled for another month.
That's what's so great about the joke. We never expected.
That's true, and we're only a few days officially from the start of summer in the human world. In fact, I believe it tips over to sometime tomorrow or early Friday that summer officially begins in the human world. But as we know, Summer Song typically aligns with the months of July and August in the human world.
But that's just one theory.
It's a good theory. So how would you explain this? So do you think that Hula's wearing a prosthetic, or what's going on?
Yeah, I think it's probably a costume. I definitely saw an image of Hula wearing an outfit, which was excellently done. So I could see that.
So that's a distinct possibility. I don't want to rule anything out.
No,
just
not at this
yet.
point. And Hula's pranks can get a little messy. It'd be important to wear protective headgear.
Yes, and you wouldn't
Should've
want,
franked it
as an
first.
example, a cake dropped on the top of your propellers
No,
or something
that's why I
like
wear
that.
this.
But so far as I know, the culprit of that particular prank is still in litigation.
Yes,
So-
I haven't checked back in on that case.
Yes,
but
I believe that's been a long case, and
But
very, very little satisfaction to date about getting to the bottom of the correct identity.
but they've got a dedicated lawyer, and they're still on the case.
Yes. So here we are. Once again, we're less than 10 minutes out. And if I'm not mistaken, version 2.3.0 of My Singing Monsters is beginning to populate the App Store and Google Play as we speak. So in the next hour to 2 hours, you should see an update for those of you who have My Singing Monsters installed, and realistically, who is watching this pre-show live stream without having My Singing Monsters installed.
Get it installed now.
Yeah, if you haven't already, get it installed now, because version 2.3.0 will contain the answers to some of your burning questions.
Wait a minute. So we're premiering a YouTube video on the same day that an update goes out?
I know, I said it. So, our YouTube premiere is now 7 minutes away. 7, my lucky number.
I like 7.
7 is good. But today is the 19th.
Yes.
So if we add 7 and 19, that's 26.
Right.
Do you know, that's how old I was 3 years ago. And what does the number 3 represent?
Trio?
That's right. I'm trying to throw them off the trail here. I'm trying to throw a bunch of numbers at them.
Ooh, I like that.
And see if they can suss out when I'm being serious or when I'm fooling around. And you know, here on the My Singing Monsters Live set, I know that it's not an episode of My Singing Monsters Live, but we like to joke around. We like to play tricks. We like to do fun activities.
We like to joke. Bah!
Bah! So, we're so close now to the end. I think it's just about time to call this live pre-show, and oh jeez.
Because, to be clear, this is not the stream to be watching for the video. We will be shooting out the link, but you have to make sure to go to the link.
That's right.
Go to the other YouTube video.
And if you haven't subscribed already to the My Singing Monsters YouTube channel, what are you doing? Now is as good a time as any, and make sure as well to click the little bell icon so that you get notified whenever we do something on the My Singing Monsters channel, which is very frequent because we have weekly episodes of My Singing Monsters Live. So you can guarantee that after the premiere goes live today at noon, in 5 minutes, that this will be a major talking point for our episode 33.
The big 3-3.
The big 3-3 of My Singing Monsters Live that will be occurring in 2 days' time on June 21st, when it'll be officially summer in the northern hemisphere of the human world.
Our first summer episode.
Our first summer episode. That's right, because we got started My Singing Monsters Live back in winter. Back in late winter of 2018. So, Eric, I'm positively buzzing with excitement here. I'm very excited to unveil what it is that has been created for this new chapter. Get fired up.
Get fired up.
Get fired up, because a new day is dawning in My Singing Monsters. We're going to sign off because we want you to make sure that you are in the right place for the My Singing Monsters reveal video that is happening. So we'll be watching along with you guys. We're so excited. Make sure to continue sending us your feedback on social media about this major milestone in My Singing Monsters history.
Of course.
Oh, I'm excited.
I'm so excited.
All right, I can barely handle it.
Yeah.
I'm tripping over my words here. All right, we might as well call it. All right.
Okay.
It's been a slice. It's been a pleasure. We're so excited to be premiering this for you guys. So get ready, get fired up,
Get fired up.
and we'll see you on Friday.
Happy
Happy monstering.